This whole new house thing is quite new to me. It's trying to adapt and realization that I'm in the house. Being out on the streets, it's a sense of freedom. But being over here, it's given me a chance to actually sit down and actually think of where I want to be.
Having a roof over his head is a new concept for Anaru Kora. He's one of many rough sleepers in Rotorua who've been provided shelter during the lockdown. And with his family still living on the street, Anaru has the freedom to build important life skills.
Where am I going to go after this? How am I going to get a house? It's just basic stuff. I'm like a little child in in an adult body. I have to take baby steps. Sometimes it's too fast, and then I get frightened of it.
Around 100 homeless people have been given emergency shelter in motels and other emergency accommodation in Rotorua.
Housing and supply will probably pick up due to the economic downfall for the people like the B&Bs and all that. So we should have more supply available in the community to place people in with good wraparound supports. The demand is going to be quite high, so we need to have structured workforce, skilled workforce to be able to meet the demand. So like I said, I'm sitting in one of our facilities now. So that's one of the 4 facilities we have in Rotorua. This one more particularly for our people who haven't been housed, who have been on lists forever and are waiting to be safely housed. So it's going to be quite challenging to coordinate at a high level, but at operational level, it just demonstrates the need for us to work closely together.
And while living in lockdown is a challenge in itself, it's an even bigger struggle for those battling addiction.
We've been able to navigate emergency addiction support with the addiction providers. However, there's limited providers open in terms of coming in and staying with people. So you've had to do a lot of the counselling and everything over the phones. And we've been able to support withdrawal management via having a safe environment first and foremost, but also monitoring the withdrawals. But we've only got 3 in this facility. The others that are out in the motels would probably struggle.
I'm going through it now. Sometimes it gets full on, and the only way I can turn to it is drugs and alcohol. Just to block all that negative vibes. New things are frightening for me.
Local support services are working around the clock to care for the city's most vulnerable.
Hey, look, we've seen that in the last week. People who have, been lost their employment, domestic violence. There's that has family harm. So people from all walks of life, not just our low socioeconomic. People from all walks of life are finding this quite challenging. The agency approach, in particular the government agency approach, has been more coordinated so we can pick up people before they fall through the gaps.
Local charity Love Soup has adapted to meet the needs of the lockdown, distributing food to those who are going without. And with many families struggling to make ends meet, its service has never been more important.
We know that the homeless have been put in lockdown. We know that they're being catered to. So post-lockdown, it will all depend on whether or not they will actually leave their accommodation to go to dinner. If that doesn't happen, we might have to look at changing whether or not we actually do dinners. But the Love Soup has always been adaptive to different circumstances. So we went from, meeting that most basic need of feed, and then we went to clothing, and then temporary accommodation like tents and sleeping bags, and then housing and furnishing those houses for those that we housed. So we've always been adaptive.
Love Soup coordinates food drop-offs and a designated pickup point for families to collect leftover food from supermarkets and eateries. And safety always comes first.
We actually don't deliver, they come to us. So we have a distribution point, and we keep our 2 meters, everything's pre-packed so there's nobody handling or excess handling of the food. So we pre-pack it, we get their details for our contact tracing, and then we place it in their vehicles for them. So those that arrive in vehicles stay in their vehicles. Those that arrive on foot, we make sure they maintain their 2 meter distance. We supply them with their food, step away, they pick it up, take it away with them. And they've all been very compliant. There hasn't been any issues where people have abused that. So it's been a really good, successful strategy so far. We've seen a decline in numbers, but we've seen a lot more new faces. So, I mean, the ones that used to come, I don't know if there's a fear of going out and accessing the food, even though it's something essential that they need. But seeing the new faces goes to show that there are others that have been affected by this COVID-19 that actually need to utilize the food service.
The benefits of community initiatives like these extending well beyond the lockdown period.
I want to be out there with my family, but because I'm over here and I'm isolated away from them, it's given me a chance for me to work on me. At the moment, I can't afford to think about what they're thinking. Everyone has their own issues. Everyone has their own path. Once they see me get a house and succeed, maybe they'll follow in my shoes.
Nathan Morton, Local Focus.